Continuing with cricket on the Sportsmax zone, and West Indies women were officially eliminated from the T20 World Cup after India defeated Ireland by 5 runs on Monday to secure the other semi-final spot from Group 2. However, the Caribbean women went out on a high, getting a nail-biting victory over Pakistan in their final group match on Sunday at Boland Park in Pearl. Batting first, the Windies scored 116 for 6 of their 20 overs, led by Rashada Williams with 30 and Shemaine Campbell 22. The two put together an important 40-run second wicket stand after captain Hayley Matthews was caught on the square leg boundary for 20. Off-spinner Nida Dar was the pick of the Pakistani bowlers with 2 for 13, taking her to 125 career wickets and equal with West Indian Anisa Mohammed as the leading wicket takers in women's T20 internationals. Skipper Hayley Matthews took 2 for 14 in a disciplined bowling performance by the Windies spinners as they restricted Pakistan to 113 for 5 to win by 3 runs. West Indies are third in Group 2 after completing all their matches below India and England, who secured the semi-final spots, and above Pakistan, who have 1 match remaining against England. Ireland finished bottom of the table. We're now joined by Nikhil Uttamchandani. Good afternoon, Nikhil.
Good afternoon to you, Maria, and happy Carnival to you as well.
Thank you. I mean, I'm not in Trinidad, but of course, I was trying to bring some vibes to the 2 gentlemen on set. It's extremely difficult, so, that's a lost cause.
Yeah, we all wish we were like Fazir Mohammed and enjoying that Trinidad Carnival, but I'm sure in the future, it's a yearly event.
No, next year, that's my vacation. But let's talk a little bit now about West Indies women, because despite Nikhil winning the last 2 matches, they were eliminated.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Maria, when we look at a team that won the T20 World Cup a couple of years ago, back in 2016, it seems like a long way away from then. But I think, obviously, it's disappointing that, this team wasn't able to qualify. But when you look at the way that the West Indies have played T20 international cricket in the last 2 years, obviously because of that change in sort of just the structure of the team in terms of personnel, in terms of thinking, coaching staff, etc., I still think, it's an encouraging campaign when you look back on it, winning the 2 out of the 4 games, beating a Pakistan team that, upset a few coming into this, and then, of course, beating Ireland, who beat Australia in the World Cup warm-up matches. So I think the West Indies have a lot to be happy about, head coach Courtney Walsh. And I'm beginning to see some things trending in the right direction, especially in that batting side of things, which is something that we keep emphasizing needs work. I look at especially the scores that the West Indies put forward with the bat in hand. 120 plus was a big problem for them, which is just 6 runs and over. Coming into this in 18 T20 internationals before this, they had just crossed 124 times. Of course, in this tournament, they did it twice. And we all saw that impressive 140 runs being chased against Ireland and then getting enough runs on the board against Pakistan to hold out for that win. So all in all, of course, there's ways that we can improve. Of course, there's ways that will need development if we want to compete at the next World Cup in 2 years' time. But I say that to say I think there's a lot to be happy and positive about coming out of that campaign.
Right, and one such thing is the captaincy of Hayley Matthews. We looked at her against Pakistan, of course, single-handedly, ensuring that she got her team across the line. And in many other of the matches, Hayley put her hand up as skipper and, of course, led from the front.
I think when you look at Hayley Matthews and her contributions, this was a huge test for her in terms of captaining, her first opportunity captaining at such a big stage. And the captaincy, when you look at the numbers, has actually made her so much better. When you look at the 21 matches she's now captain, a big sample size for us to sort of compare and analyse, she's averaged 28 with the bat in hand and has got 3 half-centuries, compared to when she wasn't captain, where she only averaged 18. And many people don't know that. And then with the ball, she's continued to be brilliant, averaging 18 with the ball when she was captain and when she wasn't. So I think all in all, she's shown that even at a young age, she has enough maturity to take the responsibility of captaining this region, but still knowing her importance to this West Indies team with both ball and bat and still being able to put forward those performances. For me, I was massively impressed. And I think, it's a real interesting one that we had the women's IPL draft a couple of weeks ago and she wasn't selected in that first round. I think Mumbai Indians will be pretty happy they've got their hands on her now because, of course, you see the value of just having that champion in the team, and also her athleticism. You see it in the field as well. That catch against Pakistan at extra cover, my oh my. So really happy for her, and I think she is showing that she can be that, perennial leader for the West Indies in years to come.
Yeah, Nikhil, 18 she averaged before becoming captain, 28 as you pointed out, since becoming captain. Do you think, though, that Hayley Matthews is a much better player than a 28 average?
Definitely. And I think one of the biggest parts of her game will be, I think, the unforced errors. It's a term you hear a lot in a sport like tennis, but I really don't think there are many bowlers on this planet who can dismiss Hayley Matthews. But it's just, I think, getting starts consistently. You saw it in the Pakistan game where she got 20. It's only one game against Ireland where she kicked on and got that 66. And I mean, you look at that, the fact that even though she's averaging 28, just 350s in the 21 innings shows that her conversions haven't been, where they should be. And that's going to be something that she needs to work on. But again, a lot of things come with that. Scoreboard pressure, wickets falling at the other end, which has been something that the West Indies have struggled with. So whilst I do think she has some of the responsibility in terms of needing to dig in, needing to bat till the 13th or 14th or 15th over, still, I'm considering the other factors where she's losing wickets at the other end and also has to deal with the high dot ball percentage that the West Indies have consumed in the past and trying to push on that score. So, of course, there's always room for improvement, and also playing in the leagues around the world in more comfortable franchises with sort of that same skill and same personnel on her level will also help grow her game immensely.
Yeah, and we definitely look forward to that. You spoke about the positives coming out of the tournament. Shemaine Campbell has been around for a while, but it was good to see her again at a major tournament doing fairly well. I was especially impressed with Chanel Henry and her batting. I think we've spoken about her already and the ability that she possesses, that she could become. I heard the coach, Courtney Walsh, by the way, saying that she is the best all-rounder in the team. I'm not sure about that just yet, but she does have the ability to be a genuinely fantastic all-rounder. So there were those positives. Getting over 120 twice in 4 matches. I think it was 180 in the other game, pretty close to it. But still, there have to be concerns, especially relating to the fielding. That was a massive disappointment for me, that we didn't field very well throughout the tournament, that we didn't run between the wickets well throughout the tournament. And you thought that's something that would have improved as the event went on, but it didn't. Why is it that we're struggling to fix those areas that you would think those areas would be the easiest areas to fix?
Well, I think, Ricardo, we have to get Courtney Walsh on the show. We have to ask him, because honestly, I don't know. As you said, you would think, maybe the bowling or the batting side of things would be the areas that they struggle in. However, I thought they held their own. But as you said, you look at that Pakistan game where for the first 10 overs, it seemed high intensity, and then almost like a Hayley Matthews pleading with her team to get that level back up to where it needs to be to compete at a World Cup in the field, that is. So, and then you had the 2 run-outs of Chanel Henry early in the tournament, and we saw the destruction she could cause if she does spend time at the crease. So I definitely think it's an area where, you have to keep that concentration, you have to keep that focus from a West Indies perspective, and that will all be, ways for Courtney Walsh and his administrative team to look to how to improve going forward. But I like to give Jack the jacket, and I think we've been critical of Courtney Walsh at times and how this West Indies team have outfitted themselves in series, etc. But I must give him credit for this Chanel Henry move, because clearly batting at number 4 seems to be, a perfect position for her, whereas she comes in at times maybe in the 5th or 6th over with 1 power play over remaining, but other times she actually comes in that middle period and then can propel the team into the final 5 overs and get them that big total like we saw against Ireland. So I think with her athleticism, with that medium pace, if she can get a bit more consistent, the West Indies could have a true find based on what we've seen with her explosiveness with the bat in hand.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that one. And I asked this of Faz on Friday. Do you think the job of Courtney Walsh is in danger anytime soon?
To be honest, I think the first thing we like to do is, pin the blame on coaches. But I think you look at the personnel he's had to work with. It's been tough, and it's been a huge transitionary period. So I still think he deserves, some more time with the job, especially with this young talent coming through now. How can he get the best out of a Trishan Holder, a Janaba Joseph, a Zayda James? And let's see, if he can really bring the best out of Hayley Matthews and her captaincy as well as she continues to grow in this game. So Courtney Walsh, he stays for me.
Yeah, and I have one quick one for you before you go, Nikhil. Are you a carnival goer?
Well, I've never been to the event, Ricardo, but hopefully one day, I could travel there because I've seen the videos, etc., and it just looks amazing from afar.
Just any carnival or Trinidad and Tobago's carnival specifically?
I would say Trinidad and Tobago, but as I said, the Caribbean is so versatile. We have so many different cultures. I would love to experience all of them, and maybe get an invite to Jamaica's carnival by you.
You're a diplomatic man. I hope you have a lot of fun, Nikhil, whether it be at carnival or elsewhere.
Cheers, man. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Thank you, Nikhil. We'll talk again soon. Stay with Sportsmax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.